cards. You'll probably wish you hadn't. Terry Drinkwater explains that American children these days are obsessed with the whole disgusting deck.
The wonderful folks who brought us baseball cards, tributes to the excellence of genuine heroes, the idols of generations of young Americans, now bring us Acne Amy, Tommy Gunn, Bad Breath Seth, Slain Wayne, and the rest of what are called the Garbage Pail Kids. Among the preteen set, they are really hot.
I like 2 Garbage Pail Kids.
The manufacturer won't release sales figures, but so many youngsters have become so obsessed that the cards have been banned by some school principals, from the West Coast to the East.
Uncle Sam with his finger up his nose. Here shows mother wanted for child abuse. And you could put fill your mother's name in right here.
They're called the Garbage Pail Kids, a parody on Cabbage Patch Dolls, but parents aren't laughing.
He's sitting there with a button in his lap ready to, or he blows his head off.
I'll trade you Slain Wayne for Bad Breath.
Parents are banding together to get the product off store shelves.
They depict violence and destruction of children and by children.
I think they're icky and gross. Some of the things on them are a little bit disgusting. It looks sort of like a swamp monster, but it's from the sewer. And its name is Sewer Sue. I think it's disgusting.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Radpack Pod. This is Garrett at Born to Be Rad, a.k.a. Gassy Garrett.
And I'm Mel from My Killer Podcast, a.k.a. Smelly Mel.
And I am your co-host, Justin, a.k.a. Disgusting Justin. And we are the Radpack. It's Saturday Night Live. Sure is. Let's go. Did we lose some audio there, guys? Did that cut out, or was that me?
No,
I heard it. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I didn't hear the news thing about the Bible Belt conservative mother thing you played. I didn't hear the audio. You couldn't hear the audio on that?
I heard the audio on it. However, okay. I loved the card where you could like write your mom.
That was hilarious. People were tripping. People were tripping over these cards, man.
I love it. I love it so much. I wish I had them.
I know. Tell me about it. I agree. It was a wild time, and thank you everybody for popping in and coming to hang out with us on our monthly live show. Guys, how you been doing since the last time we talked?
Good.
Fantastic. Are you guys getting ready for the big event coming up in a couple weeks? What are you talking about?
What event?
Mel, do you know what he's talking about?
I have no idea.
Can you fill us in? Do you know, Mel? What am I talking about, Mel? We're coming to Panic Fest, baby! We are coming to Panic Fest, baby! That's right. Not only is the film festival in person and virtual, the Radpack is going to be in person and virtual, right in this very studio right here. You guys are going to be in Disgusting Justin's lair. Yeah, I'm excited too, man.
I'm going to bring extra empty bags that I can just fill up and take home.
Yeah. And they're slowly starting to release more movies, so we're going to be some of the first people in the country to see Evil Dead Rise. That's getting a little early bump there. They're doing we're going to see, what is it, Reinfeld? How do you say it? The vampire
Renfield.
movie. Renfield. I'm
super excited about that one.
That's opening night. Barbara Crampton is going to be in person with Joe Lynch for a screening of From Beyond, and just so many more movies. And of course, we're gonna be in person. I'm so excited, guys.
Yeah, the more movies they release, the more excited I get about it.
I know. Definitely. Now, when does Renfield come out? Are we going to be seeing that early, or is that on release date? That one I don't know. I think it may be
I think that one might be on Thursday, right?
I think it might be on Thursday too. You guys are coming Friday, right? Yeah. Yeah. So I think that I'll be there. Friday night is Evil Dead Rise, so I think that we should definitely try to do our best right afterwards to do some kind of like
first thoughts or something like that video, because
maybe we should just go live.
We should do something, because like we said before, like at that point we're already going to be seeing it way in advance, so it would be huge to just do like spoiler free, like what we thought about it, and just so people can get our opinions before they jump and go check it out.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited for that movie. Honestly, I've heard great things from the people who have seen it. It's like saying it's brutal. It's right up there with, the other ones as far as gore and it just being dirty and nasty. And
I saw a new teaser trailer for it on Instagram today, where it was like, it started off like a love story and then it like jumped into the horror and you're like, ah, like you weren't expecting it. Did you see that one?
I haven't seen the new teaser.
All right, fine.
That's wild. That's awesome. And I think it's going to be cool too, because it's one of the movies I'm looking forward to the most this year to see, and to see it with you guys, I think it'd be really rad.
Yeah, that's good. That's crazy. That's so cool, man.
Yeah, that really worked out well. But so like that might be, I don't know, that might be the next time everybody sees us. I know we're trying to get a video out before then, but our schedules in April are looking pretty busy leading up to that. And it feels like it's just coming so quick. It's in like what, 2 weeks? Not even? Yeah. So that's what's so wild to try to fit everything in. But we're here, guys, to talk about all things Garbage Pail Kids tonight. But before we start, I'll just jump in the chat and see who is in the house. Again, welcome everybody. Adrian James, what is going on? How are you? Holland Oates.
Hey, Holland.
What up? Afro Whale. What's going on? Bob's Blu-ray in the house. What is up? It is time to partay. Nick, Movie AV Impulse. Let's get the stream popping. As a kid, it's so many Garbage Pail Kids cards. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. I did as well. We got Joe Reese. What's going on?
Hey,
What's up, Joe? 100 is in the house. What's going on?
Keep it 100.
Hundy. Mizzy E. What's going on? Welcome, Mizzy. Let's see. We got Movie Watch Daily in the house. What's up, Justin?
What's up, dude?
Kick that guy out of here.
Oh my God. Bass and Blues in the host. In the house. What is up, Tony?
It's the accent in the house.
I'm in the house. All right, let me see if anybody else has popped in here on the bottom here. Oh, I can't wait either, man. Coco.
Hey, Coco. Hey, girl.
What's going on? Let's see what there's a Fish is in the house. What's up, Fish?
Hey, Fish.
What's going on? Let's see. And boom, I think I'm caught up. Zombie Family just jumped in. What's going on? Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. It's because we all did watch it within the last couple of days, so it's kind of fresh in our mind again. But starting with Garbage Pail Kids themselves, it was established. The cards came out, I think, in '85. Justin, you're usually good at this. Can you confirm that with me?
June of '85, to be exact. Yeah, June '85. I got a whole list of the timeline. It's kind of a wild little period when those cards were released.
Yeah, I remember having them as a kid. Do you guys remember having these cards as a kid at all?
I don't think I had them.
Never.
Not even. Yeah, I missed it when I was a little too young for it at the time, but I caught up later. Yeah.
So I guess we're aging me, at this point.
Little bit, buddy.
No, I do remember having them, and there were certain ones that I really remember, and I did have a lot of cards, and it was one of those things that, the more I started to get, the more I think my mom was like, oh, we don't like these, because as you guys saw, there was controversy on the news about them. And it was I was getting them and they could have them. But as soon as the news story came out where they were trying to ban them, I think that's when my mom was trying to pull the plug on it.
Which is so dumb because they're pretty tame.
Because everybody saw it happening. So I think they were like, oh, you should get rid of these or whatever. And it was a play on Cabbage Patch Kids. And, I don't know if that's why I was really drawn to them. But again, if you look at the Garbage Pail Kids and the way that they were, it was almost like little things like that. Cause I was so young at the time, could that have been a small gateway into liking horror or anything like that? Because it was a little bit edgy, for a little kid that I was to have those.
Yeah.
I think so.
But as you guys didn't have the cards, sadly, I don't have any of my original cards left.
That
But
surprises me.
yeah,
You
I
like
don't.
kept a lot of your stuff when you were a kid because I like kept nothing and now I feel terrible about it. But you seem to keep a lot of stuff.
I do keep a lot, but there's a lot that I didn't keep, and it has to do with just, I remember being a certain age and coming home and like everything was just tossed at that point. And at the same time, we had yard sales, and as soon as I realized you could make a little bit of money, I remember going home and like bringing tons of things out that I totally regret. Now that was another thing that kind of happened too. So as much as I do still have, there is a lot I don't anymore. But people in the chat, I saw Nick say that that he did have them, and he actually wrote in here too. His teacher in the 3rd grade took them, and his dad threw them away. That is funny. I'm trying to think if I remember, like, if kids had them in school or not. I don't recall. But as you guys know, the Cabbage Patch Kids sued them because of the likeness. So that's why they kind of had to change their look a little bit. And what's interesting too is that they've released so much since then. Like, there must have been a hiatus, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong if you know this answer, but to me, I almost felt like Garbage Pail Kids went away for a while and then they had a resurgence. But do you know if they've always been around in some aspect? And I just wasn't really looking for it at that point.
What's crazy is, the original run, they were almost like over before they started, because the original run started in '85, and by '88, after the 15th series, so they did a total of 15 series. They opened up when they started in 1985. They did series 1, and in the first 2 years, they did 9 different series of these cards. So they were cranking them out. And then, like you said, Cabbage Patch Kids, they sued them for copyright infringement, so they had to change the design a little bit. They tried to fight it in courts, like for a fair use thing, kind of like how we deal with on YouTube sometimes, where it was satire parody, but they lost the lawsuit and ended up coming to an agreement where they changed the logo, because they sued them for everything. Like, they didn't like the logo was too similar, the aesthetic, the design, everything was so similar, so they sued their asses. And then they were supposed to do a 16th series, but it was just discontinued, which was pretty interesting. I also found out, like, they actually had everything ready to go. They just didn't distribute that final series, the 16th one. Yeah, so there's a whole other series that was never released. Yeah, I guess I read an article, I was doing a deep dive on it, and I guess somebody found some mock-ups at Topps where it was like the uncut cards. They just never produced them, which is so weird.
Well, it's funny that you bring that up
now.
Yeah, right.
I do.
Tim's Talk is in the house. What's up, Tim? He just brought up something funny now that you were saying that. He says he wishes he had Garbage Pail Kid memories as a kid, but he has interesting memories as an adult. He worked in a warehouse who handled cards, and he remembers shredding tons of them. That's crazy. Imagine that.
That's so terrible.
He must have watched the news and was like, parents don't want having these.
These are terrible.
I'm gonna shred these suckers up so those kids
it's so
have
weird. Like, in the 80s, people were so uptight. It's like there wasn't cuss words on them, at least to my knowledge. They weren't like cussing or anything. It was just like little babies like shitting and farting. Like, it's just like potty.
Yeah. I think parents just thought they were gross, because my momster thought they were gross. She thought it was like the worst thing ever. And this is a woman who watched horror all the time and blood and guts and gore, but she couldn't handle farts and boogers.
Yeah, what's up with that? Momster was wilding out.
Yeah, I don't know, but she really didn't like the Garbage Pail Kids. So, like, we rented it a couple times, and she was like, "Nope, no more."
Did Minnie Mel have like Cabbage Patch doll as a kid or no?
I don't remember having Cabbage Patch dolls. I remember some of my friends had them, but I don't think I personally had one.
No, wasn't your thing, huh?
Okay.
You just played with theirs.
Yeah.
I can remember the girl down the street had a lot of them. I'm not gonna say a lot, but I remember her having them growing up, and I don't know if that's what all the girls when I was really little, like it was always Cabbage Patch Kid and like My Little Ponies were the big thing, I think, for them at the time. And then, when the Garbage Pail Kids thing came out, I think all the boys thought it was funny because obviously it was throwing digs at them or whatever. But so yeah, I lost my whole collection, but Garbage Pail Kids has seemed to, really go through a resurgence, and man, they're just pop culture now all around. And this is, different things like there's cookbooks out there. There's different things that you can have with the Garbage Pail Kids logo on it. Now, Justin, I know Mel has a couple things. Justin, do you have any Garbage Pail Kid related items in your collection at all?
This is the only
That's
thing
it, huh?
I have. Yeah, that's it.
Whoa, you have the Blu-ray? You're so cool.
Yeah, did they make DVDs of this? They didn't make DVDs of this, did they?
I am like the only
Oh,
person
shit, they
that
made a
has a
DVD.
DVD.
Wow. But you know what though? I had the DVD of that and it was a different one than that. That's a pretty cool cover though.
Yeah, this is actually not the one that I ordered. I ordered the one with the original cover where it was just the trash can and the fingers hanging out, but this is what came. So I don't know if this was a newer DVD release.
Yeah.
When you posted that, I had never seen that cover art before.
Yeah, I haven't either. So like I said, it must be a newer one. So it's actually pretty cool, but
Who put it?
people
who
don't
put that
like
out?
my DVD.
Was it MGM?
MGM, yeah.
The original movie
that
was
cover art is
that's
yeah,
amazing.
that's pretty dope.
And you have the one sheet of that, don't you?
I do have the poster of that. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just a real cool image. It just screams 80s to me. And I was always a big like I said, Garbage Pail Kids fan, and sadly I didn't have them. So when they were coming back out with things, I was like trying to jump on it. But it just, like anything else, it just gets out of hand. Like they're doing it for so many different things now. It's like you can't keep up with it. But what I did get was I got the whole set when they came out with these like horror cards, these Garbage Pail Kids. It's hard to see, but they're like, it comes in like this coffin. It's like a full set, and it's pretty cool. Like I have some here, like a Reagan one.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's cool. You got here's one. Bob A. Duke.
Man, that's amazing.
Those are cool. Damn it.
Sparkling Spalding.
That's the shit.
Haig one. Prancing Penny. It's Pennywise. But yeah, it's a cool like little set. I don't know
wonder how the rights work. How did the rights work with that? Because those are all different studios. Is it just the parody like fair use thing that they did?
Man, I don't know.
Is it Tops?
It is. Yeah, it is Tops.
Interesting.
And this is wild too.
Well, that's kind of how fair use works, right? You take something and you just change it and make it your own, then you should be able to use it. So, like, I'm surprised they were sued for that. I guess
they have like a Dolly Dearest one. I mean, they have so many different ones, like Salem's Lot, Phantasm. So it's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Set that they had here, but that's the only real set that I have. I mean, I have a couple of Garbage Pail Kids like here and there, but like sets or anything, like that's the only one that I have. But I see Cody's in here. Dude loves movies. What's up, dude? Popping to say that for checking the replay later. Yeah, man. Are you got a show? Or are you? He's always going to the movies, doing something on the weekend.
Something fun.
Yeah,
busy dude.
Busy dude is right. And the one other thing that I have, Mel, actually, before I get into this last thing that I have besides the movie and the poster and stuff, I know you posted that you had some comics, which is pretty rad indeed.
I do. So I have the Garbage Pail Kids Origins. So these are comic books, just kind of running through the origins. I have the fourth one coming. It's a fairly new run, so there's only 4 so far, but these are pretty cool.
Oh, definitely. Especially like you said, that it's a small run right now, so you can kind of keep up as you go, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. So I mean, these are fairly easy to get your hands on right now.
They're not super limited. I'd like to pick those up.
Yeah. So that's that one. But then I also have this one. So I am a part of a subscription on a comic book online store. So I go on there and I pick the comics that I just want to have every single issue of, and then they just ship them to me. They charge me and they ship them to me. That's awesome. Then I also have Mad Balls versus Garbage Pail Kids. So I haven't had a chance to read these ones yet, but I bet they're pretty awesome.
That's so cool, Mel.
The art on those is incredible.
Yeah, these are pretty dope. The colors and the pictures and stuff.
I'm jealous.
But the thing with comic books is there's always alt covers too. So this is kind of how they get you, because I
hate that.
I know. I accidentally bought one of the alt covers. So this is the alt cover of number 1, which is pretty sick.
Right.
But then like this is the original. So it's like you know.
So you have to get the variant for each one.
Yeah, so each one of these has like 5 different variants. So if you want to collect them all, like,
oh, that would drive me
becomes
insane.
a lot of money.
Yeah, that would drive me insane to not have them all. You kind of have to just like cut yourself off.
You have to because every single comic book is like that. So if you're doing that, you're spending loads of money. And so I prefer just to have all the original covers.
Yeah.
The variant covers are worth more because they don't run, their runs aren't as big, I guess. Like some of them are only like 50. You know, so they're worth actually a lot of money. And if I see like a super cool one, I'll nab it, but I don't do all of them.
Are those all out of print? The Mad Balls versus Garbage Pail?
No, that's a fairly new run too. I think it's only on maybe issue 5 or something like that, but it's all Dynamite Comics. So check them out if you want to look into getting some of them.
Yeah, that's cool.
But it's really cool because Justin, you gave me this for Christmas.
Oh yeah, the Mad Ball thing.
This little Mad Ball guy. So now I have a Mad Ball guy to go with my Mad Ball card.
That's awesome.
And they must have the same people must have gotten the rights or something, because I forget the company that I bought them from, but I don't know if you guys ever saw those figures that I got that was the Mad Balls figures. That company also didn't they release, or they were talking about releasing, the Garbage Pail Kids Mad Ball figures? Did you guys hear anything about that?
I don't know if I heard anything about that, but I was just going to say something where I feel like I was going to ask if anybody knew who owned those, because I do feel like they're collaborating a lot now with those two. And I was wondering, if there's any, like the artists the same or anything like that. I don't remember that at all back in the 80s, but I don't know why. They just kind of feel like they do go together, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a nostalgia thing or because it was
they kind of go hand in hand with the gross out stuff. I know when they did the Mad Ball figures, the people who designed, I don't know if it was all the same people or just the lead designer, but they did have some people from the original team working on the actual thing, which is different than this movie tonight, in which the people who created Garbage Pail Kids had absolutely nothing to do with the movie.
Right.
And it kind of shows pretty glaringly.
Now, do you remember, I know you have those Mad Ball figures. Did you see that they're doing more of that line, or are they just re-releasing them? I just saw they posted like that they announced 2 of 4 in the new line. I think it's the next line, maybe.
I haven't looked into it. I had a really bad experience with, I can't remember that company. They don't have a great reputation. But it took forever to get them. I pre-ordered them. I paid for them in advance, and they were not cheap. And I waited almost 2 years for them. And then they shipped them to the distributors, and people were able to, once they were able to purchase from like Big Bad Toy Store and like whatever toy store online, they were just buying them and just getting them. And before anybody that pre-ordered it, like 2 years before. So I was pissed. People started posting them.
This is what's happening to my Killer Clowns Toonie Terrors. I pre-ordered those and I haven't got them, and Garrett has it in his local store.
Yeah, I hate that. These companies, I think they use us, like the people who pre-order it, to fund the manufacturing. And they're just like, okay, we got our upfront money from all these idiots pre-ordering. And then they just disregard it and just distribute like business as usual, which is super annoying. So
now what's interesting is, speaking of the Mad Balls, what's up, Steve? And those, again, 80s more gross out type thing. That was a big thing in the 80s. Was like they went through this phase where they were kind of being a little bit edgier with kids stuff. Like even going back to, I was thinking about this, like shows like Double Dare, where it was like, they would do events where you have to climb some guy's air and like get all the air wax out. You remember all that stuff? And like,
oh yeah,
I loved that shit. And like all those shows and toys that had to do with slime, like, He-Man had like the slime pit. Ghostbusters came with like slime. There was slime on TV shows. Then you had Mad Balls. You even had things like Boglins. Like, I just feel like around that mid 80s, everything started to get into the more of that gross out for the kid, mostly like for the, for the kids and, boys' toys and all that other stuff that they went through. But it just was an interesting time. And that's why I think as well that these kind of stood out, because it kind of fit in that same realm of like all that stuff that we were getting.
What, Mel, were you into all that gross out stuff in that era, or was that like a guy's thing, or were you into the gross out shit too?
Well, I had a brother, so, and he's older, much older, so I kind of got stuck doing whatever he wanted, or he'd, wrestle me to the ground, and I'd have to do it anyway.
Yeah.
So like one of the toys I had a lot of when I was a kid were Barbies, but every time I got a new one, he would burn them. So I played with a lot of G.I. Joes and
I thought you said I played with a lot of burned Barbies. Like they're like
well, I mean, sometimes if they weren't that bad, you know, my mom would
like zombie Barbies and stuff.
I think I cut my fair share of like dolls' heads off my sister's shit. Like
right, so mean.
I remember I had a legendary fight with my little sister. She's 5 years younger than me, and I cut the head off her doll or something. And she came into my room and ripped. I had this like imported Nirvana poster from Japan, and she just ripped it in half, like on the wall. And I came in.
That's what you get.
And I was like, I could have killed her. I could have killed her.
That's what you get.
That's what happens, man. You don't beef with the little sis, man. Fuck your shit up, literally.
Wow.
Ruthless.
I love it.
Someone's asking Mel, what Killer Clown stuff you talking about? The Toonie Terrors. There's like a 2-pack out right now.
Well, it's the Toonie Terrors. There's a 2-pack, but then there's a 3-pack. So there's 2 of them. I pre-ordered both of them and I haven't gotten them yet. I even sent them an email and I was just like, hey, just curious when these are going to be coming. And their email back was kind of like, just wait, hold your horses. We can only do this so fast. You know, it was one of those kind of emails, like not real nice, you know? And then, so to see them in the store before I got my grubby mitts on them kind of.
Where'd you pre-order from? From who put them out?
It wasn't directly from the manufacturer. It was from just like a random horror store online or something like that.
It wasn't Entertainment Earth, was it?
God, I don't even remember now.
They're pretty slow.
I pre-ordered these last year. Oof. Like as soon as they announced that this was going to be part of their line, I was like on that.
Dude, the fact that they don't ship, they need to, I don't know why they don't do it. Ship out to your pre-orders first before anybody else. Otherwise, what's the point?
I wish.
It's crazy because like, you know, as collectors, we collect so much, you know, we've talked about it before, like not only just physical media, but posters. I'm grabbing VHS tapes again. And after I sold my whole damn collection, I mean, there's just always so much where you have to kind of try to cut bait. Like I'm getting NECA stuff here and there. You know, vinyls I've really cut back on a lot of. I wasn't using them. I wasn't even opening them. So I was like, why am I even buying these anymore? And Toonie Terrors and Reaction figures are like the 2 lines that I was like, I'm not going to get into this because it's just going to be a nightmare.
It's tough.
And I remember with Funkos, really it was the same way. Like Funkos forever, I was like, I'm not touching these things. I'm not. And I said to myself, unless they do Lost Boys, I'm not going to start this thing because it was just out of control. So for years, I didn't buy any Funkos at all. And then all of a sudden, of course, those Pops, they released the Lost Boys. So I bought all those and I set them up. And I'm like, well, I've got these set up here. And then on this shelf, I've got all these Karate Kid things. Well, I'll just get the Karate Kid ones. Then that became the Karate Kid ones. And then it was like, maybe I'll just get all my favorite movies. And then, you know, then it started just kind of get out of hand. And I was like, I got to stop with this. But Toonie Terrors and Reactive was the same thing. Like I haven't got any, and I missed out on like Karate Kid ones. And there was a David Lost Boys one that I didn't get. And now Toonie Terrors I saw at the store. I saw that Killer Clown set and I'm like, wow, this is really, really cool looking. Especially because I like 2-packs and stuff when it comes to things. Like I like when there's multiple things in a box. Like I just think it looks nicer. And then I saw the Scott Howard Teen Wolf one, and I'm like, oh my god! Like I'm gonna probably have to.
Is that new? Because
that's on the new line too.
I'm gonna run out to my store because I actually do want that one. So I attack it differently. I'm just like, I just want my favorite things. So I'll buy the Lost Boys Funko Pops, and I'll buy the Killer Clowns Toonie Terrors, but I'm not gonna buy them all. Just the stuff that means things to me. So I have collections of them, but I don't have a lot of them.
It's that weird mindset of it's always like I'm like I need all or nothing kind of thing, and I shouldn't be that way because I've stopped myself from being that way when it comes to movies now. Like I was like that for a while, and I've really been able to kind of stop. But yeah, I'm probably going to get Scott Howard. I mean, maybe the Clowns, but that might be it unless they do like some Lost Boys ones or something like that. But the to have Teen Wolf anything is huge. That's why I always grab Teen Wolf stuff just because I love it, and it's not a line of figures that you ever see. And even if you did, you're only really going to get one person. So
yeah, it's rare.
It's not going to get out of control with that. I know that someone in the chat mentioned, Adrian asked if Justin, if you and I ever collected He-Man. I did. It was my first action figure line ever. And to be honest, I've actually been buying a lot of those retro ones that are out now, which is basically just exactly like the ones I had as a kid.
The big ones, like the quarter scale?
No, they're all they're small.
More 70s,
yeah. Yeah, they're actually the same figures that I had as a kid, except they might have like articulated elbows and knees, which the ones I had as a kid didn't. But they all look exactly the same, and they're really nice. But it's like anything else. It's like as soon as you think you're kind of moving with the line, like, okay, I've gotten everything. But now it's all of a sudden they're spitting out like 2 lines at once, and then exclusives at this store, and then exclusives on the website, and it's like it's getting hard to keep up now, and I'm kind of getting out of it because it's just become too much. And they had like some play sets that I grabbed, like the castle and stuff, and then they had one play set that was like $700, and I was like, I'm not going to buy that.
Jesus,
and you only had a small window on a website to get it, so I passed on it. Which then, then I get bummed out because I'm like, well, then my collection will never be complete because I didn't buy that thing. So it's like collecting stuff, man. But Triple T said Toonie Terrors and NECA is a mess. Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but Target around me always has tons of those damn Toonie Terrors, like tons of them. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you guys see them if you have Targets around you, but that's the one store that there's always plenty of those things there.
Yeah.
I see them at Walmart too every once in a while, but they never have a ton of them.
They did a what is it? The Hatchet guy. I'm forgetting his name.
Yeah. Victor Crowley. Yeah, Victor Crowley.
Yeah, that one's really cool, and the Reagan one's really cool. But like you said, man, it's just you have to kind of just like draw the line. Otherwise, you're gonna end up breaking the bank over a bunch of dumb shit.
So yeah, and Mel, if you don't ever see him at Target, I don't know if you know, but NECA has its own section like away from the toys. Did you know that?
Yeah, it's like in the electronics.
Okay, yeah. I just didn't know if you didn't know that because I know some people.
I know.
That's where everything hides over there. Yeah. But yeah, we'll get back to Garbage Pail Kids. I'll show this really quick. I've had this for a while and I forgot about it. And it's a book that basically has pictures of like the first 5 series before they got sued. And, they go through each person. So it's kind of cool because it's just large images of the cards, but it goes through every person from series 1 to 5. I don't know what it's called. It's just an art book, I guess.
That's really cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Oh, wow. What's this? There's a pack on the back. Hold on. Ooh, there's cards in here.
Oh shit! Live unboxing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's see what they got in here.
Don't open them. What are you doing?
Is there bubble gum with it?
Don't open them.
You don't want me to open this?
No.
It's got
a baggie on it. It's got a baggie.
Bags are meant to be opened. Open it. Open it.
This is killing me. You better put them back in that bag.
I can rebag them. Trim Jim. He's got scissors in his nose.
Ew.
Busy Bee. She's nailing nails into her mother's head. I can't focus it. Ticked off trucker. What the hell?
These are a lot worse than
they are. Because I'm wondering if these are like maybe the ones that like
R-rated.
Like maybe the next line that they didn't, because I don't know any of these. Ticked off Tucker. It's a guy looking at his watch, and the hand is coming through with a gun shooting him in the eye.
What the fuck?
Oh my god!
What the heck?
Okay, I see why Mom.
Dude, this is brutal. Hole in one, and it's a guy's tongue with a gun shooting himself in the head. Like,
good lord,
that's weird.
I wonder if that set is exclusive to that book.
I'm gonna have to be buying this book.
Yeah, for real. Thanks, Garrett.
Offensive Oscar.
Now there's something else to buy.
It's just a football player farting on the other team. But yeah, that's. I had never seen.
Farting on the other team.
I had never seen these before. I'll have to read the book and find out who this.
Just farting.
Farting all over him.
Oh,
it's farting all over that kid.
That is crazy. Wonder if anybody in the chat knows anything about this little card set and this book.
Tim.
And I wonder if
Tim,
all the
you
books
know?
are the same.
Tim, don't tell him to open them. How rude.
Yeah, he knows. Tim knows. He knows what's going on. Okay, let's see. Open. Yeah, Tim says open. I love it. Turkey bags Tony. That's actually pretty funny. TBT.
I love that.
TBT, baby. TBT.
Nick, give everyone names. Tim already has one.
That book's only $22.
There you go. You got to get it just to get those cards in there.
Yeah, I gotta have it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody has this book.
They're stickers, I think. I think it says in the book that they're stickers.
Oh, those are stickers, not cards.
Well,
I want
Garbage
it
Pail
less.
Kids are always. Oh no, these ones aren't. But I thought most of them always were kind of stickers, weren't they? Like
stickers
they were
and
cards,
gum, yeah.
Yeah, they were cards, but like you could actually make them stickers if you wanted to. I think that was kind of the gimmick with those. I didn't know about this. Did you know about this? Ben Grimm said R.L. Stine just came out with Garbage Pail Kids books.
What?
We gotta look that up because I'm a big R.L. Stine guy and I know Mel is too.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I wonder if they have the same art style. I imagine they do, like the Goosebumps style artwork.
Oh
Ben says they have there's 3 books so far. No. Really?
They have a box set on Amazon.
Live buy. All right, hold on. Before we get into the movie,
I'm on a freeze.
That's gonna be our next segment. Dude, I'm on a freeze too, but you know what happened.
I am no longer on a freeze.
The freeze has been lifted.
Dude, listen.
Oh, they're kind of like those. What were those golden books where they had like the golden
oh
spines?
shit, that's even cooler.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, and it looks like they come with cards, or at least this box set does.
All right, let me look right now.
So there's 3 books. Welcome to Smellville. Thrills and Chills Camp Days.
Chat, don't tell us about anything else. We're gonna go broke.
No
we have
kidding.
we have a freaking trip planned. And we're gonna
and like my work's been so crazy. I've been like, I've been back and forth building, a new gym and all this stuff. So my paychecks have been brutal the last couple weeks, but it's funny because I'm on a spending freeze to get ready for Kansas City. If you guys haven't seen this thing over here, this damn Chucky finally shipped after 4 years. So that was a nice $400 taken from the account a couple days ago.
They are so sick though.
They are. I'm going to do an unboxing of it, probably tomorrow at some point, but I can't wait to get in there. I haven't even opened it at all yet, but, that came out. And then there was one morning last week early. I think 8 o'clock. Justin messages me with like a link. He's like, dude, did you see these?
Did yours come yet? Mine came a couple days ago.
No, mine shipped. And $150 like later at 8 in the morning, I spent $150 on posters.
Well, what was interesting but you got me back because I sent you the first one, which is it was a mashup. It was Evil Dead with Kill Bill. And you said, oh, I got the second one too. And I'm like, wait, there's a second one? And the second one was even fucking cooler.
Oh my God, this is bad news, guys. I do see the Garbage Pail Kids R.L. Stine ones. I'm gonna grab those.
It's a box set.
It's a box. It's so cool.
But you know what else is?
I'm buying.
You know what else
I'm
is
buying
scary?
it too.
I got that stupid pink book that Garrett showed in my cart, and now I'm putting this in here.
I typed in Garbage Pail Kids, not like the book. So now I'm seeing all the different stuff they have. They have
Amazon has some crazy Garbage
Pail Kids, all about the 90s card box set.
Oh god damn it, dude.
Where they where they do 90s movies, I think, and they do it in Garbage Pail Kids. That's $100 for this box set. Of like cards.
Guys, we need like a intervention, dude.
Yeah, so like you can buy like the box sets of all these different lines. That's not good. All right.
I'm deleting my Amazon app. We hate the 90s. Damn, that is cool.
That is cool, right?
Damn, they have the Sonic one and
what's this? Garbage Pail Chrome?
There's that book.
What's this? There's more horror ones. I wonder if that's in a different
What are these
set.
card packs you can buy? They're just like single card packs. Oh.
This is turning
like
into like a live shopping. It's like a
this is terrible.
Right. Everybody's just watching us to shop.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry, guys.
All right, I just put that book set in my in my thing.
Dang
I'll just do
it,
later.
Ben! Look what you did.
Saturday night shows get wild, man. You know what's gonna happen on Saturday.
All right, I'll tell Tim. Okay, so Tim, so that hopefully they're still available because I think they were limited to 50. So if you go on Hero Complex Gallery, they just did a Kill Bill, which was a mashup. So it's basically Kill Bill, but it's in the style of the Nightmare on Elm Street poster. And then they just did Kill Bill Volume 2, but it's the Evil Dead. It's her coming out of the ground with her arm up. And it says Kill Bill Volume 2. They're really nice looking, and I'm a sucker for mashups. So, of course, I had to grab both of them.
Have you opened it yet? Have you opened your package yet?
It said it shipped, but I haven't got it.
Oh,
yet.
That's right.
Yeah. The Radpack going broke. Yeah.
Seriously, I just put almost 300 or almost $200 worth of Garbage Pail Kids bullshit in my Amazon cart.
I mean, there's only so much Radpack money to go around. You know what I mean?
I know.
So we're burning through it. We're big wigs over here. All right, we will get into the movie.
We literally haven't even talked about the movie.
No, not at all. So we all just watched it again. This was something that I watched as a kid. I remember the first time I saw this was on VHS. I mentioned this in a stream before where when we were kids, we'd go out for dinner on with my parents on a Friday night and we'd rent a movie. And I remember renting, this, and I don't think we watched it as a family. I don't think, but I know my brother and I definitely watched it. And that was the first time I saw this was on VHS. Now, do you remember the first time you guys checked it out? I know you said your mom had it or rented it or something, Mel.
Yeah, we used to rent it from our local video store. She was totally grossed out by it, hated it. We probably rented it more than a couple of times, but she definitely at one point put the kibosh to it. She's like, "This is gross. You guys don't need to be watching that," while she's over here, watching the stuff or something.
Yeah, you're watching Hellraiser 2 or something, and she's like, "Garbage Pail Kids are gross."
Yeah, exactly. But what's funny is I remember this movie being disgusting. I remember it being totally disgusting. Watching it now, it's not that disgusting.
Yeah, that's
you guys
the whole...
remember it being worse than what it is?
Yes, I do. As well, and it is funny because it's so wild, and I'm sure Justin can talk about it because I know he did a lot of research on this as well. Is that it's nothing like it was ever supposed to be. This movie, this movie was supposed to almost be in the realm of a horror movie, which I think would have made this so much better. Because you look at the Garbage Pail Kids and it's they're not supposed to be friendly, kids and stuff like that. And they wanted to make this for kids, but they wanted to make them almost very friendly. And I don't know. I just think that really hurt the movie. What do you guys think about that? I mean, how much better would this have come off if this was if they were attacking people and stuff?
Yeah, it would have been. It would have been way better. Did you guys watch the interview with Buechler, John Carl?
I did,
Buechler?
Where he said he had it was basically going to be toxic waste that got on. Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Was it? On
he was
what?
He was in the running to be the director, but he wanted to make it a horror movie, and it was going to be radioactive sludge finds its way into a garbage can of broken dolls, and then they come to life as serial killers.
That would have been fucking amazing.
Yeah, I'm over here we could still make this movie.
Right.
It's different enough that I still think they should make it. But yeah, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, that interview with him was pretty enlightening as to what happened because they got the rights from Topps or whatever. There's a little there's a couple different bits of information that kind of conflict, but from what I read, the director, what's his name, Rod something, him and his agent kind of secured the rights, and then John Buechler was in talks to maybe direct because he was just coming off Troll. But if he would have been able to direct and control all of the effects, because I mean he did the effects for a bunch of Full Moon stuff, right? Dolls and all that type of shit. And his version of the movie, which is what he wanted to make, would have been so much better. Okay, let's be honest, right from the top, this movie is not good by any stretch of the word. The tone is all over the place, and he made a really good point. Buechler did. It's you can't have something be cute and sweet and saccharine, a family kids movie, and gross out. The tone is not there. You kind of have to go all one direction. And this movie tries to straddle the line on both. and it just like guts it from being like super cool because there's barely any gross stuff. You get like one scene of puke towards the end, a bunch of pee. They do show that little baby peeing a lot.
It was like, no, it was Nat Nerd.
It was Nat Nerd peed all the time.
Nat Nerd.
Well, the problem was they just didn't have the budget, because I was reading an article about all the stuff that was going on, and they just didn't have the budget to do everything.
Are you going to talk about the animatronics?
Yeah, they had the one head for each person that was just like slowly deteriorating as they filmed, and they kept on having to like patch it up and fix it. And these poor little people were like, they couldn't see, they couldn't hear. They're like, you can even see them in the movie, especially at the end scene with the fashion show. Like when it's all chaotic, those guys are just bumping into each other and they don't know where the fuck they're going. It's just so ridiculous.
I read that they ran out of budget for the animatronics, so they just didn't finish it.
Yeah, they weren't done.
Yeah, they weren't done. So that's why in the movie, like when you watch their eyes, some of them are like
especially
and some of them are blinking while the other ones are open because they're just malfunctioning while the person is wearing them.
Yeah, like the script wasn't done before they got filming. The effects weren't done. That is funny you mentioned the animatronics, because there are so many scenes where you'll look at one character and his eyes, the eyes are just rolling back in their head. And it's like creepy as shit.
But that's the thing. As much as that's like messed up that they weren't done, it's like shitty. Like, it almost like kind of added a little bit to the weirdness of the movie, because I will say this is, as much as this is not a good movie, and even when I was a kid, I liked it because we can go through it again. I liked anything that was a movie based off something else that I was a fan of. So I always let it pass, but it's not a good movie. But what I like about it is that it just really does scream 80s on just how weird of a movie it is. And we'll talk about more of the plot line, but I thought they actually looked pretty decent, like in general, like as far as the costumes and stuff. Like they did look like Garbage Pail Kids. I mean, it didn't look like, they tried to make it look like it, and it just didn't. It's like it did. If I had a Garbage Pail Kid was like a human, that's what I would think it would look like. And I think that they could have even looked like that and still did well as like killers, though, in that same kind of look. And they wanted. Terrifying. Yeah, they wanted to have more of the kids in it, and we could talk about where and when later, but like you said, they ran out of money, so they couldn't have more Garbage Pail Kids. And for years I swore that there was more in there, and obviously I must have just been dreaming that, because now watching it again, I'm like, yeah, there isn't. That's all we got is like those 5 or whatever, which was Nat Nerd. What was the other one? Do you guys remember? Foul Phil.
Greaser Greg, Messy Tessie, Windy Winston, Valerie Vomit, Foul Phil, Nat Nerd, and Alligator.
It's funny. Sometimes the kid during the movie is like alligator. He's like saying like he didn't, and then he would be like, then like the next scene he's like Allie, like he just kept going back and forth between alligator.
Well, and it's kind of sad because there are more. Well, there's supposed to be more of them in the movie, and they're like trying to find their friends, but then you find out at the end that they're just like dead.
Yeah, because they didn't know how to close that off, right? Like they must have ran out of money before they had a chance.
They couldn't make anymore, so they're just like, oh, they're dead.
Yeah, that's basically it. And the main character is a young kid, and in real life he's 14. I think he plays a 14-year-old in the movie as well, 13 or 14. And it was Sean Astin's brother, you said, correct?
Yeah.
What was he on? He was on like a TV show or something, wasn't he?
He was on a bunch of stuff.
Was it Facts of Life? I think it was. I don't know. I think he might have been on Facts of Life, I think. But
I know
it revolves around this little blonde kid who looks like an 80s child actor, basically. Some kid that you'd see in other things. And I don't know. I guess he works for this guy at this antique store. So he's working, at a very young age for this gentleman. And the first scene starts with him running, and what's so odd about this whole thing is he's getting bullied by these kids, but these kids look like in their 20s. and they're like, the first scene, they're like beating the crap out of this kid who's like 13 or 14, and these guys are like look like they're 20 years old, if not older than that.
The movie it starts out a lot like Never-Ending Story. I was getting a lot of like heavy Never-Ending Story vibes. The first like 20 minutes of the movie is actually really good. It's a good setup. But then once the whole like, well, you can go ahead with the plot line, but once all that fashion clothes bullshit starts happening, it's like, what are we doing here? Like, why is this the main plot of the movie? Oh, do you like that, Mel?
Yeah. No, that's like the only part I like about this movie.
Did you actually enjoy that part?
I did enjoy that part.
Now, I was going to ask about that because not that I have anything against fashion. I love it. But I just think it's just a weird turn of events of like how this plot line even came out where they're like, okay, it's going to revolve around a kid who works at this like antique shop. He's going to get bullied by these kids. He falls in love with this girl. Number one, this girl, his love interest in the movie, they never say her age in the movie.
We love it.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, they're loud tonight.
I know, right? I was like, somebody said that they never heard.
Go!
Yeah, somebody said that they never heard the train in my videos. So I was wondering if anybody was going to hear this one, and clearly you can.
Part of the charm.
I love it. No, I love it. It's just part of the whole gimmick. You know, we do it every time we hear it. We just hang. But yeah, so it revolves around the girl which they never really say her age. So I'm assuming that her and her friends are all in their 20s.
Mm-hmm.
She looks like it.
Right.
Do you want to know something really gross though? Well, I guess I don't know how old she is, so maybe it's not so gross.
No, it is gross because she was only 15 years old in that movie. 15.
Was she really?
Yes. I looked it up because I'm like, there's some scenes in here where they're making her very sexual almost.
Yeah, she's like, wearing like practically nothing.
She's like getting undressed in front of the kid. She did like what is it? Was it Basic Instinct with the leg? Remember? She did that.
There's a crotch shot in the movie.
She lifts her leg open for the kid, and she's like, you look 60 when you wear that jacket, you look older. And she like moves her leg open, and I'm like, and like at the time, I'm like, okay, yeah, she's in her 20s. But then I was doing research, and I'm like, wait, she was 15 when they did that movie?
Okay, so this makes a little more sense then, because apparently him and her were actually dating in real life during the making of the movie. They ended up breaking up also during the making of the movie, but I was so grossed out when I found that out. But now it makes a little more sense knowing how old she actually is.
Aston, like the lead kid and her?
Yeah.
Which is bizarre. She's like 2 feet taller than him.
So?
I'm just saying.
Justin,
I'm just saying.
Height shouldn't be a huge deal. Do you
That's
find
right.
No.
Being vertically challenged is okay. Us short kings, we got this, guys. Although I am 6'2". I'm 6'2".
Shut
I know. You're gonna tower over me when we meet.
Yeah, I'm 6'2".
You're not really 6'2", are you?
6'2".
No, you're not. Are you really?
Just a little bit. Yeah.
I don't even believe that. I cannot believe that. I feel like I remember you saying how tall you were.
I don't have tall guy energy. What the fuck? I have short king energy.
Short king energy. I have a feeling when I see them, we're going to take a picture with them each on my shoulder like this. That's what I think's going to happen. I'm going to be standing there. They're going to be sitting on my each shoulder.
Oh my God. This is
no, but I did read that they were together and broke up during the movie. Can you imagine when you're that age, like your little like your puppy loved it is like everything in the world. So I don't even know how they were able to work together. They were probably both like crazy.
Like, get these damn dolls away from me.
Well, she probably started banging the bully guy, the hunk guy.
Right?
Well, her boyfriend in the movie. What's his name? Yeah. His name's Juice.
How is Juice not smashing that? But the little twerp kid was. Well, he must have had he must have had some major BDE going on, dude.
His juice ran dry.
Yeah, seriously.
Yikes! How old was he though? Because he looked super old. Too.
I looked him up. It didn't.
It looks like it.
There's no age for him. I was like, because I don't think he did anything besides this movie.
Because it was probably like illegal for him to be.
Mm-hmm.
He was like in jail after
kissing this girl on TV.
The thing is, they had such a small budget that they really couldn't do anything else story wise. Like what should have happened, because we don't know anything. Maybe I missed a little bit of dialogue, but there's nothing about like where this kid's parents are. Does he go to school? Like if they would have done it more, like been able to have a little bit more money, do a traditional thing, like show him at school, put his shit in the locker. He has like a little nerdy friend, and they find they're walking through the woods one day and stumble across. Like, there's so much of a better story that could have been told with this. That's what I would have loved to have seen. You know?
Yeah, the fashion secondary story is a little weird, but for me personally, I loved all the fashion movies when I was younger. So like Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead and Romy
It was the
Michelle's High
thing.
School Reunion. Those
Mhm.
movies inspired me like to do things in my life.
It
So
was like a
I'm
thing.
surprised I didn't like this more, but I think I
Mhm.
saw this when I was like way younger.
Yeah. Like in the 80s and 90s, you didn't know what to do in the third act of your movie. You just threw a fashion show at the end. Because they did it. I mean, I'm trying to think of. I know there's a ton of, like you said. Don't tell mom the babysitter's dead. I just had like two more in my head, and as soon as I started talking about it, I forgot it. But that was like a thing. There was just that it'd have a big climax at some fashion show. It's bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's cool, but I just didn't understand how they came about that they were going to be like, all right, what we're going to do is we're going to make these gross, you know, number one, are they, where did they, did I miss like where they came from? Was it space? Because at the beginning they were
it's
like
like
in
a trash can like buzzing
ship?
through space. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. That's so.
But how
have
the guy got them, we don't know.
There's a lot of plot holes, and then it's like, hey, we're gonna make them good at making clothes. Like it's just a weird like. Like, how did anybody come up with the storyline for that? Like, Garbage Pail Kids, you know those cards that gross everybody out? Well, they're going to still be gross, but they're going to know how to, like, sew and stuff and, like, make really cool, like, fashionable clothes.
Stealing sewing machines from the non-union sweatshop.
And you know what else, too, was so odd? There was a scene where, like, and I don't remember why this happened, but remember when he met the Garbage Pail Kids for the first time, and they were, like, peeing and farting and doing all this stuff. Then all of a sudden, there was, like, a next scene. And the kid's like in a bathtub, like in the middle of the guy's store.
Dude, for no reason. They're like, one of them says like nice legs.
Yeah. And then he's like bathing this kid who's like 14, like the owner of the shop. And then the kid's like getting out and he's got the towel around him and he's like got one leg up on the thing. And the guy's like, oh, I'm going to eat your toes. And the girl was like, nice legs. And he's like just covered in a little towel. I'm like, what is the point of this? And why is he bathing in front of like all these alien Garbage Pail Kids and this old guy? Like, why is there a bathtub in the middle of his store? I don't understand what's going on.
It's so
did anybody else find that like
I literally didn't even think about that, but now that you say it, I agree. It's weird.
It's super weird. Now
Justin just like whatever.
Well, I'm just thinking of other plot
normal
lines
everyday stuff.
Well, I'm just thinking of like quite literally any other storyline they could have done. Like, what if half the Garbage Pail Kids were stuck in that thing and it was like a Prison Break movie where they had to like use all their bodily fluids to like help them escape, like shoot snot at the guard in his eye to like, distract. Like, there's a whole other, I don't know. There's so many possibilities they didn't.
Oh, when they're breaking out of State Home for the Ugly.
That's another thing. So the plot line really is about this kid that wants this girl. Like that is like the main focus of this movie is like
Tangerine.
This kid wants this girl who's supposedly older than him, which they don't really say her age. I don't know where she lives. I don't know. It looked like she lived in like an apartment. So
it looked like she lived in the same building as him, right?
It was strange. It didn't look like she was like a kid living at home. She had it was like an apartment that she lived in. I don't know, but then it's about him trying to win her over, and she really likes fashion. So for whatever reason, the Garbage Pail Kids know how to sew and make cool clothes, and he impresses her with his clothes. And then all of a sudden, like that's kind of the idea. She's gonna have a fashion show. She wants him to make her like tons of items. So he's going to the Garbage Pail Kids, basically saying like, "Can you do this for me? Like I need it all done." And they're like, "Oh, we don't know if we can make this happen. That's a lot to ask. Blah blah. But we'll try." They stayed up all night. They stayed up. They had that weird little like montage song, like
one random song.
What the heck was
it? Working together. Something about
working together. Yeah,
it's so much better. Something like that.
Yeah. Something that the Garbage Pail Kids probably wouldn't ever do, based on like the cards. So then all of a sudden, like that's like the plot line. They're leading up to this fashion show, but then all of a sudden, like they showed like these police guys like catching people in nets, like. You remember when the little girl had like a Halloween mask on? And these guys catch them in nets, and they're like, "Oh, it's just a mask. We're gonna bring them to the state
home for the ugly.
State home for the ugly." And then
which was so weird. They're like a clown in one of the cages, and the thing was too silly.
Too silly. Yeah.
And then
too hairy.
Yeah, then there was like a new plot line where all of a sudden it's like, oh, where are the rest of the Garbage Pail Kids? And they're like, oh, they must be in Garbage Pail. So they're checking all the pails and they're not there. And they go, and I think the guy was like, maybe they got taken to the state home of the ugly. Like, and they're like, oh, and I'm like, what the hell? Where are we going with this? State home of the ugly? Like, in this world right now, like how wrong, like that state home of the ugly was. Number one, like you go to this jail if you're ugly, and they decide like what makes you ugly. And there's like a guy, it was like you said, there's a clown that said too silly, and then like
there was literally a guy in there that was too boring.
Did you see? It's kind of funny.
Did you see
one
one
guy that was? Go ahead.
Oh, there was one guy. He had like a cane, and it said "too crippled." I was like,
"Are you serious?"
I swear to God.
There
was another. There was another old guy in there that just said "too pale." There is some random funny bits in there, like in one bit of the movie, the guy's like when he's working on his piano song, the book that he's reading from says "really, really black magic."
Oh yeah, I saw that.
It's so dumb.
Yeah, there's some undertones to this movie for sure.
Yeah. So that whole subplot was just so unnecessary and weird because they get taken and then they get broken out and then they say, "Where are our friends?" And the guy says, "Oh, they got killed."
Remember that garbage compactor?
Yeah.
They're gone.
They squished them. Yeah, gone. Oh, okay. And I'm like, was that whole side plot even necessary? But in my head as a kid, when they said they were going to that state pen of the ugly or whatever, I thought in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, that's where the rest of the Garbage Pail Kids are. Like for some reason, I thought that there was more that were in there. But when I watched it now, I'm like, no, it's just people. Like,
well, every aspect of this movie is just like something started and not finished. Like this whole movie was so thrown together purely for profit that nobody gave a fuck. Like nobody involved in the movie knew anything about Garbage Pail Kids. They were like, oh, we're making a Garbage Pail Kids movie. Let's all get our checks and move on to the next show.
See, I think that should have been the main plot of the movie is they crash land on Earth. This dude finds them and lets them out and he figures out what they are. And then they tell him that there's more of them. So they should have went and looked for him. And then they get captured by the state home for the ugly. And then they have to be broken out or they have to break themselves out and find their friend. Like, why couldn't that have been like just a really simple storyline for this movie?
Like an adventure movie, yeah.
I think it must have been the money. Like, I don't think they had enough money to make any more kids. Like, I think that's probably what happened was they're like, oh, shoot, we ran out of money making these 5. So we can't have this plot line. Because why would it still be in there? Because it does nothing to the plot. So I'm like, I'm thinking that you're probably right on point, and that's kind of what was supposed to happen, because then it would have spawned off a sequel or something once all the kids were back together. And then they could have spawned off like a whole sequel, you know, with all the kids or something like that. Like there was so much more opportunity. This thing, it just had, like you said, it didn't make any sense at all. And I'd like to say it's charming because it's from the 80s and it's just so bonkers and weird. And I like animatronics and that kind of like special effects, but it was just, it was just dumb. You know,
it's not gross enough. There's like 2 scenes of gross shit.
Yeah, see, that's one of the things that I was so surprised about because what's her name? Valerie Vomit or whatever. I was like totally expecting to see all this vomit and she only does it once and it's at the end.
Yeah. And it was a good scene. It looked cool.
Yeah, so I was like the most that they did was, I forget which one it was the snot girl. Like you saw a lot of her slimy boogers, which actually it was kind of funny because that's how she was putting the rhinestones on the clothes as she was like
with her boogers. Yeah, I think also like they couldn't use a lot of like slime shit because they even had the guy with the zits all over his face, and we could have seen him like popping them and squirting. But I guess when they were doing whoever did the paint on them, like they painted with this acrylic paint, and they didn't know it was going to dry hard. That's why everything, like if you even in the close-ups like of the hands and the face, it looks all crinkly and dried out because this paint was just drying and chipping and falling off. So I think they couldn't like apply like goo and slime on stuff because you just would damage the heads, and they only had one, so they couldn't do like rigs to do like slime and pus and all that shit because they would have just destroyed the animatronic thing. But
yeah,
the design was good.
The Windy Winston, I think, had the most stuff to He farted on people quite a bit, actually. He did.
Well, because they could just throw a sound effect in at any point in time. They didn't do anything visually. They just throw a sound effect on and like,
oh yeah, he just had to turn and go like this.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
He did. He had like a certain move. He'd like stick it out fast. He'd be like he had like a yeah.
yeah.
And, then there was like one. I think he did like a fake out. He did it. And he's like, aha, just kidding. Like,
yeah, he's like, I got
ya. Yeah, I'm not gonna do it to you. I mean, it was bad. Remember, it blew that guy's mustache right off and stuff. Must have smelled so bad. What do you think it smelled like?
I don't know. Justin, that's a Justin question.
Why is that a Justin question?
It's clearly a Justin
Because
question.
I'm disgusting, Justin.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad she finished the sentence because I said, "What do you think it smelled like, Mel?" And she went, "Justin." That's what it smelled like. Justin. He like stinks.
Yeah, that's what I thought of every time you did it. I was like, fucking Justin.
You're like, this is gonna smell like Justin's house. I just know it. It's gonna smell like Wendy Winston's ass.
You're gonna be sleeping on the futon, and every once in a while, you're just gonna hear.
Stop ordering shit, dude. Justin is either ordering stuff or he's ordering food for after
Pay
the stream.
attention to us.
I was trying to find. There's a hilarious quote by the director talking about the people in the costumes, and I meant to take a screenshot of it, but I couldn't. I can't find it. Damn, it was a hilarious thing about the way he described these little people shoving them into these suits, and it was just ridiculous. I guess when they were in these suits, they only had like 7 minutes that they could like comfortably breathe. So they'd have to be in these heads for like a few minutes and take them off and breathe because they were just sweating because these rigs were so heavy and so dense that they could barely even be in them. So they'd have to pull it off. And but damn, I wish I could find that quote because it was fucking hilarious. But anyway, I digress.
Did you guys also notice that scene where they went into the biker bar? And for some reason, like the alligator guy, which I think that was kind of a stupid one that they picked. I think they could have picked like so many better characters than that alligator guy. Like I just didn't feel like he fit really.
It wasn't gross.
Yeah, he was like the odd man out. Like why was there an animal?
And all he did was like bite toes or whatever. He had like this foot fetish or whatever.
That was one of the better designs though of the movie. Like the sculpt
it was a good design.
Good.
But he went into this biker bar and so he could munch on some toes. And like there's like this cool biker at the bar and he's like, oh, this guy's toes. And I'm like, why is this biker guy got like freaking sandals on? Like at the bar. Like it didn't really make sense. But some of those bikers were the bikers from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Did you guys notice it was some of the same guys?
No, that scene felt similar to the biker scene in Big Adventure. Yeah,
it really did. I was actually trying to see if it was the same bar because like even the bar itself that the guy was like walking on, I was like, that reminds me so much of it. And yeah, some of those guys, the guy's toes that he bit was from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And then there was another guy with like the big beard or whatever. And I was like, oh, there's a couple of these dudes are from the same. I just wonder if they were just in Hollywood as like biker guys or whatever.
That's another type of scene that they would do a lot too. Like they did that in Encino Man. They put them in the bar with the people. They did it in Pee-wee. They did it in like a billion different movies. That was I think that was kind of a trope of the 80s too.
Yeah, and they needed those to do that biker scene because the bikers came back out and helped the Garbage Pail Kids like later down the road, like at the end or whatever. So, but I mean, what are you guys' final thoughts like on this? Like, is this Mel? Is this for you now? People were giving you a hard time because of the DVD. Do you see yourself? Do you need like an upgraded edition of this or no?
Well, yeah, that was my thing too. Was like I bought the DVD because I didn't feel like I needed it on Blu-ray.
And it's expensive on Blu-ray. This thing is
like $80.
Right.
Yeah. I looked it up. If there was a decently priced Blu-ray, I was gonna buy it. But yeah, it was $80. So I was like, hell no. And that was probably without the slip cover too. So I mean, if it comes out on 4K, I'll probably buy it. But I mean, I'm not gonna buy the Blu-ray. I'll stick to my DVD. It actually looked pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. But I also had it in my, 4K player, so the upscaling and stuff probably made it look a little better. But
a lot of grain to it because I think the Blu-ray looked really good to me. Surprisingly, some of the low light where there's a lower light, like some of the outdoor, like exterior night scenes didn't look as bad. You can see a lot of grain, but when the scene's well lit, it actually looks really, really great.
I didn't really notice any grain. I'll have to Watch it.
God damn, that's going for $100. I'm about to sell my shit.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it looked good. I don't, and that's another thing too. It's like, would I upgrade this again? I probably not. But I mean, you look at it and you're like, well, if I can sell this for $100, and then when the 4K comes out and it's 30, then I could make $70. I mean, you know, that's probably going to more or less get a 4K. I mean, if Scream Factory still owns it, then you know it's probably coming.
Or if Vinegar Syndrome puts out a squishy release with,
true.
you know, a slipcover and whatnot, like I'll buy that 4K just because I have it on DVD, and this DVD was like shape. So I haven't put any money into it, you know. So I definitely upgrade.
VSU for Garbage Pail Kids.
I'd be all over that.
It does kind of have a weird cult following for being like such a terrible movie, but like people like to watch it together because it's so bad. Like, you know,
well, do you want to know what's funny about that? Is critics called it the worst movie ever made, and it was nominated for like 4 worst movie ever made things. So there was like a Stinkers Bad Movie Awards, and it was nominated for Worst Picture. And then the Razzie Awards, it was nominated for Worst New Star, Worst Original Song, and Worst Visual Effects. However, this movie didn't win any of those awards. So there were clearly other movies that were worse than this one. However, the Stinkers Award for Worst Picture, do you know who actually won that?
No, who?
So this movie, Spaceballs, and Who's That Girl were up for Worst Movie, and Spaceballs won it.
That's bullshit. Spaceballs rules.
I was like, clearly Spaceballs is worse than Garbage Pail.
Wow.
So did you guys enjoy rewatch? I actually had a good time
with it.
Yeah. I like the soundtrack a lot. Did you guys like the soundtrack?
It
sounded like
Beverly
Hills Cop.
Liked it, yeah.
Oh yeah, it did. That's what it was. I knew it sounded familiar. I was like, why does it have this like even the one at the beginning when they're doing the opening credits? I thought that was cool too when you see the cards like floating through space and stuff like that. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Again,
it had worst original song, like that song at the end. I mean,
what the one that the working together one?
No, the one at the end. It's like an original song made for the movie, and it just
was it?
Yeah, just like it's a song about the Garbage Pail Kids. It's
really
bad.
Together songs way better. Way
it's
worse.
really bad, but it's funny. I guess I don't
know. It's worse than I remembered because like I said, it's been a while since I've checked it out, and for some reason I thought there was more Garbage Pail Kids in the movie. When I noticed there wasn't, I was like, huh. I was like, what was I thinking of? But again, I think it's a fun watch with other people. It's a product of its time, and I just, as much as they're not good movies, I love that stuff. Like anything I grew up with that had a movie. Like let's even go back to like He-Man the movie. Not a good movie, but you know, for someone that was a huge He-Man fan, I remember watching it as a kid, and in my head I was like, this sucks because it doesn't remind me of He-Man at all. But because it was He-Man, I was like, it's awesome. You know what I mean? Like you kind of trick yourself into liking it. But I always will have a fondness for that movie just because. And you know, even other things like, have you guys ever seen the My Pet Monster movie?
I didn't know there was one.
Yeah, there's a live action movie. And it's the same realm where it's so bad, but it's kind of charming in a way. It's like, you know, it's different. And there's another cool movie too. Do you ever see Purple People Eater, which is another pretty
Flying
cool
Purple
movie?
People Eater? Yeah, that was one of my favorite movies when I was a
really
kid.
like I always wonder why that never got any kind of like treatment. I think it's only on VHS, and I have a bootleg of. Actually, I do have the VHS tape as well of that movie too. Still, and why has that not ever gotten any kind of treatment? I'm sure there's people out there that like that.
Didn't that have Neil Patrick Harris in it?
It did.
That's why I loved it so much. I was in love with Doogie Howser when I was
Doog?
a kid. Yeah.
You love the Doog?
Yeah. That was one of my favorite shows. I've been waiting for that to get a release or something.
It has nothing. It's got to have a DVD.
know.
I think it has a DVD. I think it's probably a box set somewhere.
I'll
But
have to find it.
yeah, I mean, it kind of falls in the line of things that I enjoy, though. Mac and Me, you know, it's kind of cheesy movie. But yeah, I mean, I would love to talk more about movies like in the same realm, like you said. I'm surprised you guys haven't seen My Pet Monster.
Mm-mm.
You know what's a better version of this movie is the Basket Case sequels.
Of course.
I kept thinking about that when I was watching this. Like the gang of like gross out weird creatures, or even something like Freaked. There's versions of this movie that do it so much better. I kept on thinking like a double feature of like Basket Case 3 and Garbage Pail Kids would be a really fun double feature.
Yeah, that would be funny. There's actually little homages in this movie to Troll and Ghoulies. There's like paintings on the walls in the shop.
Oh shit, I didn't notice that. That's fucking awesome.
Wow.
I didn't notice it either. I read it in one of the
I can see
trivia
Troll.
things.
This reminded me of like something that would fit in that same realm in a sense, is like Troll and
Well, yeah, because didn't that John Carl guy, he did
Yeah.
Trolls, right?
yes. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's weird because it's one of those movies, like I said, I think we're all in agreement that it's not a good movie, but it's kind of an entertaining watch. Just because it's so odd. And some of those scenes, like we pointed out, we're realizing that girl who looks like she's in her 20s dating like a 13-year-old or whatever is really 15, and then they have
I
her
never
doing
would have
these, like,
guessed that. That's
Yeah, I
crazy.
would never have guessed that either because I thought it was really gross.
like she's like getting changed and stuff like in front of him. Like, was there a point where she was like just in her bra or something like that?
Yeah, one of the when she was selling her clothes outside the club, one of the girls bought her shirt off of her back and she took it off and she just standing there in her
God,
bra.
the 80s were wild, man.
That is crazy. Somebody asked a couple quick guys. This is a great question. Flight of the Navigator. Yes, I absolutely love Flight of the Navigator. Actually, I did a whole series on. Well, not a whole series. I did a review with Wes from Deadpin on here. We also talked about Life After Navigator, which is a really good documentary. I don't know if you guys have checked it out. But wasn't it you, Justin, who came to me recently and said, "Let's do a Flight of the Navigator show"?
I'd love to talk about that movie. Yeah.
And I would still be able to do it again. I mean, we could do it strictly for the podcast or something like that. But yeah, man, that's a great movie. Way ahead of its time. I feel like it's got some really cool stuff in it.
I think it was you. Didn't you just post that scene where he goes back to his parents' house and his parents aren't there and stuff?
That movie used to freak me out a little bit when I was younger.
It's weird.
Oh yeah,
it's weird. Yeah, I didn't understand it either. I get it now. Of course.
I think that's why I found that scene was always really creepy because it was confusing, kind of. You know, you're thinking to yourself like, "What? Where the heck is his parents?" You know, because you don't really know at that point what's happened and why that's happening. So yeah, it was.
God, I haven't seen that movie I haven't seen that movie since I was a kid. I got the steel book, but I haven't watched it yet.
It would be good to revisit that one.
It has a steel. It has a steel book.
It was a Zavvi. Like a 4 or 5, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, Second Sight put out a squishy release of that too, didn't they?
Yeah, that's the one I have.
Did they really?
Do you have the squishy release or do you have just the standard? Because all that's left is I don't even know if you can get the standard anymore, but
shit! I didn't. That was I don't think I was really up on Second Sight when that came out. Look
at how fucking cool that is.
God damn, that is amazing.
Yeah, it's a really nice set. It comes
That'll
with like
get a 4K.
I didn't jump on that, and then I was so pissed because it sold out.
It's got a poster in here too, I think.
I love those Second Sight releases.
Yeah, they're fucking
cool. It's a really good addition, but it's odd because like Disney had that for so long. So how did Second Sight get it? You know what I mean? It's like very strange, like how the rights.
Why do you have that just sitting there?
Why do I have all my?
We literally brought this up out of
right
nowhere. Oh.
Yeah, all my Second Sight stuff is right here.
He's just like, I have it right here.
No, all my Arrow and Second Sights are in this shelf right next to it. Yeah.
It freaked me out for a second. I was like, how'd you know we were going to be talking about that? You just seem to have everything in arm's reach.
I was thinking Radpack. I knew. I had a sense. I was like, we might be talking about this at some point today.
Ridiculous.
People asking a couple other questions too before we,
let's do some
head out.
questions.
Let me see. We got let me see. What's up, Hakeem? He asked if we were getting Mallrats. I am going to get Mallrats.
I'm going to get it too.
I already bought I don't know if I need a 4K on that. I already bought the Arrow.
You bought the Arrow one?
Yeah, I have the Arrow one.
If I had the Arrow one, I wouldn't buy it, but I don't. So
I agree.
I'm going to get the 4K.
I'm in that exact same boat. I missed it. And I could have got it, but it wasn't like one of those limited editions anymore. I could just get the standard. So I always passed on it, thinking I'd eventually find the limited edition one. But now,
so is it a box set or is it just a slip?
I don't know. It looks like just a slip, but it
looks
also
like just a
says that
slip.
it's coming with like cards and posters. So I don't know like where it. Oh well, they can go probably inside the case, I guess then.
Yeah, I think it's just a slip with that stuff inside the case.
I can't even remember. Is the where do I have it? I have it up there somewhere. Is it just the slip release? I think it is, isn't it?
I think so.
I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
But I think it's basically the same release that you have. There is some alternate slip cover. I don't know where you get that one, which is kind of cool because it's the Magic Eye, which I loved those things growing up.
Yeah, that's the one I want. You can get it off Arrow.com.
Damn, if it is the set, like if it is the set compared to the whole slip,
I don't think it is. If you look at it
No,
on
I don't
Arrow,
think it
because
is
I think Arrow has both of them, the alternate artworks or whatever. If you look at it, it'll show the movie, and then it just shows like a couple cards and like the book. But Arrow releases when you buy them day one, all come with like a little book anyways, and it doesn't show it like it normally shows. Like Robin Hood, it showed like
all
all
the different
things,
pieces.
and it had this this whole spread or whatever. It doesn't show it like that, so I'm thinking it's just the slipcover, and then it has goodies on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Give me Dogma, man. I need Dogma.
I heard that's coming back out.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. Kevin
sell your
Smith was-
Blu-rays.
Well, when I saw him live, have you guys ever seen Kevin Smith live?
No.
Oh,
I'm
God,
not a big Kevin Smith fan. To be honest.
He goes. I love the guy, but man, he'll go on tangents forever. It's like a 3-hour thing. So he went on like a 20 or 30-minute tangent about all of the Weinstein stuff, and I think he did end up buying the rights back to it, or is thinking about it or something. So, yeah.
Afro Whale asks us about Invader from Mars. It's a great movie. Have you guys seen that one?
I've never seen that one.
That's a cool one.
I don't know if I've seen it or not.
I think Scream Factory put it out, I believe. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they did. 100 says he's a big Doogie Howser fan as well.
Damn,
Parker
right?
Lewis can't lose.
Love it.
Podcast encore. Yeah, we'll definitely do that.
I'll just say the theme song for Doogie Howser is such a fucking bop, dude.
Oh yeah, it was a
You
good
guys
one.
remember the Halloween episode where he was like Dr. Frankenstein kind of?
No.
That was my favorite one. It was in like black and white too. I watched that
dude,
shit
that's
all the
amazing.
time. I loved it so much.
That was a fun show, man.
Yeah, it was.
JS in the house. Yes, we did. We did already do. We talked about the comics. Mel has them. Is that the one Dynamite you have?
Yep, it's the Dynamite comic.
Look at that. Boom.
Bagged and boarded.
Bagged and
Sean-
boarded.
Sean said, "Did we see the Kino's releasing Big Man on Campus?" I did see that, and I'll definitely be picking that up.
Oh,
Thing
wow.
with Kino, I'm always like, oh, I'm gonna pass on everything and just wait for the sale, and I'll pick it up then. But then what happens is like, I always say that, and now I've like accrued like 20 movies that I'm like, oh, I guess I'll just wait for the sale because I just keep saying that to myself, but then I never go on and get them. So there's so much Kino stuff that I need. Like I still didn't pick up Secret Admirer, which I wasn't sure if I was going to, but everybody I've talked to said they actually think the transfer is better than the one I have. So probably end up snagging that as well.
Oh, that movie ended up being so good.
Yeah,
And the
I
transfer
really
is
like that one.
great. You should get it.
I'm gonna probably get it. The monkey says Dr. Dugenstein.
Yeah.
But gang, before we get going, if you guys didn't know, we were competing with WrestleMania tonight, which is crazy. I didn't even realize WrestleMania was tonight. So we are on here competing with that because I know a lot of people that were like, well, I'll watch your show after Mania. So people will come and check out the replay. So definitely, I haven't said this yet. Give the video a thumbs up. Again, this is still a new channel. So we really want to get this thing to grow. So please share this around. Definitely sub if you're not. I left links. We all left links on our social medias, on our YouTubes, on our Instagram to lead you to this show. So check to make sure you're a subscriber. And if you're not, definitely sub because this is a newer channel and we're trying to grow it back up. But we do have the next month, our live show is going to be live together from Justin's. And we're probably just going to do like a Panic Fest kind of recap show. I think it's probably what we're going to do and maybe a Q&A type thing. We'll all be together. You'll probably see us a day before our live show talking about Evil Dead Rise. Maybe we'll sneak out like one more. If not, keep your eye on the podcast. We'll probably have something brewing over there. But we do have an announcement for what our live show for May is going to be.
Did we just the one we just came
Yeah,
up with?
we just talked about it today and finalized it. And I felt like, you know what? Let's announce it tonight and even though it's not till May, because tonight is WrestleMania. And I just thought it kind of made so much sense. So here's what we got going on in May. May live show, Radpack.
What you gonna do when Culkamania runs wild on you, dude?
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy.
That voiceover.
Mel, did
what you gonna do, dude? When Culkamania runs wild on you.
We were talking about that. Did you even see that in the chat, Mel, when we were talking about that? Or is this news to you right now?
I know. I mean, it very well could have been. I'm like, what are you guys talking about?
It's just too good. Well, I was
I did run through your conversation, but you guys were broing out so hard. I was like, I'm just gonna sit.
Well, I brought up Good Son. I was like, dude, we should totally cover Good Son. I love that movie. And he was like, Garrett was like, well, why don't we just do a whole Culkin thing? And then
just so you know, I loved Party Monster. Okay.
Oh, no, Garrett, I did too. But I think the problem is that once we start getting that deep into his career, the episode's gonna be long. So if we just say, okay, let's pick like his big three.
Let's skip My Girl and do Party. No.
Well, the thing is, after those big ones, he really didn't do much. He did the movie with Mandy Moore, and then he did Party Monster, and in between like those and like all of the big ones, there's only like one or two other movies like in his later career. But either way, there's so many good ones.
We can either separate into a part 1, part 2, or just search his thing and just see how many he's in. Like, you know, we got Page Master and like the big three to me were always Home Alone, My Girl, and Good Son. I mean, again, Uncle Buck he was in. He wasn't the lead or anything like that, but he was, you know, that's kind of where he was found. You know, you have Party Monster, which was a little later. You have Page Master, which was in his prime, but, you know, it was like a cartoon type thing.
Richie Rich.
Oh, yeah.
Right, Afro? I agree.
I love
Oh, my God. I forgot about Richie Rich, and that's also got Edward Herman in it.
Do Richie Rich instead of My Girl.
We got to do My Girl. I mean, we don't have to talk about it too long because it's sad. It's a sad movie.
Well, should we talk about Home Alone, though? Because that's technically a Christmas movie.
No, we can talk about Home Alone. Just call it. But what I mean, we don't have to say a lot about Home Alone.
You can't talk about Macaulay Culkin without talking about Home Alone.
I can.
But we could just kind of breeze over the life and times of the Culkster.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
So okay, so go back to, I'm curious here. So with My Girl, is it just too sad? Like there's so much sad stuff.
It's so sad.
Yeah, it really is. The whole movie's
I can't watch it again, so I won't be able to talk about it.
The whole thing is just a tearjerker the entire way.
The entire
without his glasses.
Yeah.
I'll just sit there and anticipate that one scene and then die when it happens. And then you guys will do the live stream and I won't be.
I mean, talk about like the reason I want to talk about it, and I don't want to do it now, but I mean, like, what a ballsy freaking move that was back then. I mean, kids of our age were obsessed with Macaulay Culkin after Home Alone. And then all of a sudden, the next movie, you're like, yeah, let's go see Macaulay Culkin. And all of a sudden, you leave the theater. And you're like, what the hell just happened? Like, I mean, it was made for kids. It was a ballsy move that they did. And like you said, it still kind of haunts you to this day. It's a hard watch. It really
But that's what the whole, I hope we're not spoiling it for people who haven't seen it, but the whole movie is, you know, grappling with life and death, and you know that's what the whole movie is. So it makes sense, you know, because his dad's a mortician, so she's like trying to understand what it means to, you know, her mom dies and everything. We'll talk about.
I never even upgraded that from DVD. Like I have a DVD set of 1 and 2, and I know it's got a Blu-ray and stuff. I've never bought it again, so. You know, it's not something that I like to watch either, but I think it's definitely something that could be talked about just because of how different it was for something like it was just like we just talked about. It was just a very ballsy thing. And not only that, but then all of a sudden he went right to Good Son, which was another kind of a ballsy thing, but in a cooler way. But you know, as a little kid, like I remember bugging my mom to go see that, and she's like, "Now," and I'm like, "It's come on, Macaulay Culkin, I have to go." You know, like, but like it was all of a sudden now he's in a rated R movie. Like, yeah. It was just crazy to think because he was kind of at the top of the world at that point.
Yeah, that movie was insane.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll talk about it in May when we get through it, but it's gonna be like a Macaulay Culkin based episode, and I just thought it was a cool time to announce it now, just because of the WrestleMania tie-in to Culkamania.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun episode, and we still have Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. We have a lot of stuff coming up, man. We really, really do.
So, guys, before we sign off, anything else you guys want to talk about? What you got going on in your channel for the next couple weeks before we meet up?
What you got?
I'm just packing for the meetup.
It's like 2.5 weeks just packing up. How much outfits are we bringing in?
Come with
saddles,
big old suitcases.
Gotta shoe my horses. I got a lot of stuff to do.
How about you, Justin?
What have we got going on? I only have one video in the hopper right now. I got a haul video that I just got done editing, which I do a little Garrett name drop in there. You'll see that.
You do?
A little G-Man name drop. And that's really it right now. A couple acquired takes episodes that have been sitting in my editing program for 2-3 weeks. That'll eventually come out at some point. But I have a lot to do around this house to get it ready for you guys to come. So I'm like scrambling to like get everything, because I normally don't think about how everything's set up in my house until I have somebody like come over. Then I'm like, oh shit.
I'm disappointed. I wanted to see Justin's house on the reg. I don't want to see Justin's house after he cleaned and organized.
You want to see like milk carton, milk
I want
crates?
to see the pizza boxes and the laundry everywhere, and the movies not in alphabetical order.
It looks like the sewer place in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
perfect. That's cool. That's kind of cool though.
Because I'm not the one that has to sleep there. So
you know what? You know what's gonna be funny is when we get there, if that freaking cabinet door is open,
I think it's
bet
still
you
open.
can't close it. I bet you can't close it.
No, I think it's literally still open.
Can we go do a tour really quick before we sign off and see if it's open?
I guess we could. Well,
You messed with us? You didn't really cut your hair?
I legit thought you cut your hair. I was just thinking.
Oh, I did cut it.
It's still blonde though.
It's in a ponytail.
No, but not that. You sent us a picture and you said I'm ready for you guys, and it was like short and brown.
Yeah,
that was an old picture, wasn't it?
That's cut. I cut it.
I'm so confused.
He tried to trick us today until he just turned sideways.
I'm 6'2" and I cut my hair.
Just lie after lie.
All right, before we go, let's just do one quick tour. I just want to see if that cabinet's open in the kitchen.
Oh, god damn it.
Dude, it's been open for 3 months.
I bet it doesn't close.
It's still open. Oh shit, that's awesome.
Oh my god. We
Easy
have
access,
to take a photo op next to that cabinet now.
Dude, this is bachelor life, dude. That cabinet doesn't fucking shut.
That is so funny.
Just get right in there. Dude.
Yeah, I bet he does shut it and it just opens right up.
Oh man,
that's funny, man.
All right, gang. Well, anybody who's watched this live tonight, thank you guys so much for checking this out live. Anybody watching it on the replay, thank you so much for checking it on the replay. Like we said at the beginning, make sure to like, and if you're not subbed to this channel, sub, because it is a new channel, and you might think you're just watching a channel you already subbed to through the links, but take a look and just make sure that you are subbed to it. And
we've been adding new episodes too. We added Encino Man to the channel and another Q&A. So it's there's a little bit of a catalog building up there. So sub, like the videos, help the channel grow. Yeah,
and keep your eye out on my channel at Born to Be Rad. I'm going to be doing the Chucky NECA unboxing. It'll probably be out tomorrow or Monday, and then what do I have this week? It's going to be a crazy week of work. I know I do have a stream coming up with Dead Pit doing the physical media history for Evil Dead as we kind of prep for Rise. That's all I can think of on the top of my head right now. But again, thank you guys all for watching the original YouTube faction, the Radpack. And this is Garrett at Born to Be Rad. And like always, stay rad.
Stay weird.
Stay killer.